Do I have something special for you today? Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lauren if you're new here. If you're not new and you're a lover of indie eyeshadow like I am, you probably have heard of Clionadh Cosmetics. Now they are an indie brand based out of Canada and they have the most stunning eyeshadows. Multichromes, duochromes, apparently mattes, which I was not an expert on until this video. And they recently launched 3 new eyeshadow palettes. Now, typically Clionadh comes out with eyeshadow singles, and they are a bit on the pricier side, I will say, but they are worth it. They are the most gorgeous, stunning shimmers, multichromes. Oh my gosh, it's just art. It is art, what can I say? It really is. But I thought about it. I thought about picking up 1 or 2 of these palettes. And I ultimately did not pick up 1 or 2 of these palettes. I picked up all 3. Yeah, I'm not gonna apologize because you wanna see them just as much as I do because, oh my goodness, they are stunning. So far, we've only done 1 look and I am in love. It is love. I think it's love. So I am absolutely gonna do swatches and I'm gonna do a look with each palette just so you can see how they perform. If there was one you were looking at that you were more interested in, I have all 3, so let's play with them. And the first look we did was with the Paleo palette. So this is what's up first. And I'm gonna put the prices on the screen. I will say Clionadh is a little bit expensive. By a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. So don't get sticker shock by that price. But I always say that their eyeshadows are worth it. And we're gonna find out if all 3 of these palettes are worth the price. But the next one we're gonna play with is the Archeo palette. So the Archeo is interesting because the entire top row is all mattes and then the shimmers are on the bottom row. So that's the palette that is gonna be look number 2. And then third, and potentially the one I am the most excited about, is the Oceano palette. And it is just so vibrant, so stunning. I cannot wait to put this on my face. So we're gonna do some swatches of each of these palettes. We're gonna do a look with each of them just so you really get an idea of what they are and if they're worth that price tag. And then I'm gonna finish up by just telling you my overall thoughts on these palettes and if it was worth picking up not 1, not 2, but all 3 of them. So first up, we're gonna go ahead and swatch the Oceano palette. And this was definitely the one that I kind of fell in love with. And ignore the hair. I pulled it back so it wouldn't get in the way of swatches, if that makes any sense. But we're gonna go ahead and just swatch this and we're gonna go straight across. And if I'm looking down, my husband showed me how to use this really cool app where I can actually see what I'm recording on like an iPad. So I don't have to like kind of guess. It's very exciting. But if you see me looking down, this is the first time I've used it and that's what I'm looking at. But we're gonna go ahead and just get into the swatches. And this way I can actually swatch on my arm and see what I'm doing. It's very exciting. We're growing here, we're growing. So first up we have Manuloa. Then we have Bioluminescence. Ooh, that's pretty. These are so soft. This is the first time I'm touching any of them and they're so soft. We've got Undertow, Tidal. There's quite a bit of fallout with Undertow, just FYI. Plankton, Manta Ray. Ooh. Archipelago. I am not saying that right, am I? The first CA I ever got was on geography. The second CA I ever got was on French. And that is the end of my history with getting C's. Seagrass. Ooh. Lagoon. Starfish. Urchin. Ocean glass. I keep having to duck down to read because I'm blind, I swear. Okay, so here is the Oceano palette swatched. It's gorgeous. I am really excited for this one. I'm excited for all of them, but swatching just like is a cherry on top. But yeah, first palette is looking pretty stunning. Up next, we have the Paleo palette, which looks like this. Another absolutely stunning palette. Actually, I don't know which one I'm more excited for now. I can't decide. Let's swatch this one. Okay, so first up we have Glacial. And then we have Arctic Water. Ooh. Fossil. Ice Core. Ooh, look at that multi-chrome. Okay, Moraine. Trench. Oof. Tectonic. Epoch. Magma. Archaea. Oh. Okay, so you can't even see, but this one, it has a green shift to it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to play with the lighting for that one. Pangea and Crater. Whew. So that is the Paleo palette. Very pretty. Kind of back to not knowing which one I'm more excited for. Let's get into the last one. And last but certainly not least, we have the Archeo, pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, palette. And this one looks like this. So again, another stunning palette. This one looks straight up magenta on camera, kind of like the last one, but it is actually, it's got like green to it. So we're gonna see if we can play around with it and capture that tint. You can see kind of the duochromeness in this one. It's got like peachy green, but this one is like just too strong for the camera. Like you can't even tell. But let's go ahead and swatch. Okay, first up we got Monolith, Dead Sea, Erosion, Nomad, Fragment, Lichen. Ooh. Okay, here's the duo multichrome. Glyph, Sundial, Neo, Sulfur, Terrain, ooh, and Artifact. Ooh, Artifact. And that is the Archeo palette. Okay, I think we're ready to put one of these on my face and film the intro. Let's get into it. The first palette that we're gonna play with today is the Paleo palette, just because I'm so excited. And it's this one, just as a refresher. I've already gone ahead and primed my eye with my Gimme Glow primer in the color Parchment. And I also brought out my MAC paint pot in the, I think it's called Black Mirror, but I can never read it. Just in case we want something a little more intense, So I think for this one, ooh, this is hard because I want to play with every single one of them. But I think let's go ahead and start with Magma here. I'm gonna put it on just my upper eyelid. And one thing I noticed when I was swatching all of these, now I am not super familiar with Clionadh's matte formula. I think I have a couple. I don't use them too much, but you know, I just wasn't like as familiar with their mattes as I was with the rest of their formulas. So they're so smooth and buttery and it's going on so nice. But one thing I did notice when swatching is there was a lot of fallout with the mattes, not with the shimmers, but definitely with the mattes. Okay. But yeah, that went on super buttery, super smooth. No fallout as of right now. It's looking good. Whew. Okay, I'm excited. Let's go into, it's hard because I want to play with all the shimmers, right? But let's go into, I'm gonna go into trench. I want to go into trench, I think. And I want to put some of that a little bit on just the outer edge of my eye. A little worried this is going to be super dark, but no, it's not. We're good. We're good. And for this one, I'm just kind of tapping it on. I actually don't like this brush. Let me pull out a different brush for this one. Okay, and I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. I'm trying not to bring it out too far over my eye. But for shimmer, that went on and blended out so beautifully without blending away. Okay, next, I do kind of want to lay down the black primer and give that a go. I'm gonna use the same brush because it's not that dirty. But I want to put it right here. I just want to see how intense we can get some of these colors. I'm going to go into Arctic Waters because it's calling my name. So we are going to go ahead and I'm just going to go in with my finger and just pat it on. The blue is so intense. It's so pretty. And you know, I'm going to go back into Magma and I'm just gonna blend it out with the blue a little bit more. And let's go ahead and put some of the Magma underneath my waterline as well. And I'm gonna go back into Trench. I'm gonna drag a little bit of it just down here. Just kind of to connect the upper and lower lid. Okay, now we are definitely getting quite a bit of fallout. So, but not with the matte, with that blue, in fact. It's getting pretty blue underneath my eyes. And then let's go into one more. Let's go into Glacial here and just put it in my inner corner. Make it easy. And I'm officially smearing green and blue all over my face. Okay, I think we're gonna leave it at that. It's not super complicated, but I wanted to let each individual color shine. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye, and then we're gonna come back for the final look. Okay, this is the final look with the Paleo palette. What do we think? I am in love, possibly. I think it's absolutely stunning. As a reminder, this is what the palette looks like. And there was quite a bit of fallout on my face. I will say it took a little while to clean that up. So be warned, if you are scared of fallout, there is fallout. But let's move on to the second look. What often happens when you are recording with some new stuff, I didn't hit record, so we weren't recording with new stuff. So I did an entire eye, not on camera. So I'm gonna do this eye on camera to match this eye. But we are going in with the Archeo palette. And just as a refresher, this is what it looks like. You probably can guess the colors that I used already. But I will say, this is probably the palette that I wasn't quite as excited for. It just is, I don't know. We're gonna use it and see if like it changes my mind. So the first color I ended up going into was Fragment. So we're gonna go into Fragment. And I don't know what it was about this palette. I think it's just that the other ones were so flashy. And this one is much more earth toned, which I like earth tones. So I don't know why that doesn't excite me as much as, well, the other ones have like bright blues, aquas. I love those colors. And like, this is a good terracotta rose color. I think that's what we're gonna call it. But it's not like necessarily an exciting color. It's going on well though. Okay, that did go on really nice. I will say that is a very nice matte, very smooth. And next we're gonna go into Monolith. And one thing I discovered while using Monolith is that it is very similar to Fragment. Let me show you. It is probably a little bit more purpley. slightly, but very, very slightly, I would say. It's very, very similar. Can you spot the difference between the two? Maybe a little bit. But I'm just kind of doing very similar to what we did last time. And what's nice about Clionadh's mattes, as I am learning, is that you don't need a lot of them, just a little bit, because they're very pigmented. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with my MAC paint pot, and I'm gonna lay down some of this just black color, and we're gonna go in with one of the most beautiful colors, I think, out of all three palettes, potentially. I'm gonna pretend like I haven't just been using it. And we are going into Glyph, and we are just going to put it on my finger and lay it down over my MAC paint pot. And yeah, I think that's just a beautiful color. And then we're gonna go back into Monolith, put a little bit of it underneath my eyes. I will say, same with the previous palette, we are dealing with quite a bit of fallout. So the mattes are super, super soft, almost in a negative way, because I can literally see when I'm applying it, like the powder kind of poof up into my eye, which is not my favorite. And lastly, what we did for this look is we're gonna go into Terrain here, and I'm gonna put that not just in my inner corner, no, we're changing it up a little bit, but I'm gonna drag it into my crease as well. And it is just like the juiciest lime green color. I love it. Just the softness of the formula, the impact of the sparkles. I'm a big fan. Okay, and I'm gonna do it a little bit all over the place because I just really like this color. I think that's good. A little bit messy. We went a little bit quickly because we have one more look to do after this. But let me go ahead, do the same thing we did last time, put on some eyeliner, mascara, come back, show you the final look. Okay, here is the final look. What do we think? Kind of looks like a fruit salad. I kind of love it. I was not expecting to get this kind of look out of this palette, but of course the colors I go for are the fruit salad colors. So yeah, I think that's really fun. So Glyph, the purple, is a multi-chrome. I'm not seeing a whole lot of shift, even off camera, which I wonder if this one just should not have been put on a black base. We're experimenting together, okay? And that's totally okay. But I'm not seeing a lot of shift with this one, which is interesting. I do see the shift in Terrain though. It's got like a little bit of a peachy shift, which is really pretty, but I don't really see the other one. I saw it when I was swatching it. I don't know where it went. It could be because it's nighttime. My ring light is blinding us, but I even turned off the ring light and you still could not see that shift. So we'll see what it looks like in post-production, but let's move on to our last palette. Okay, we are on to the last palette, the Oceano palette, which is the palette that I'm really excited for, but we're gonna do a much simpler look just for the sake of my poor eyes. They are not loving the fact that I did this all in one day. Originally, the plan was to do it over multiple days, and I did not do that, clearly. I was like ready. I wanted to do all of them. I couldn't help myself. So we are going to go into, I already decided what I wanted to do because first of all, I really wanted to play with the color Plankton, but we're gonna go into Mana Ray first, which is just like the darkest, deepest green. And I think with this one, I'm gonna do a very simple, just halo eye, because my skin is starting to get a little bit irritated, not from the eyeshadow, but from the fact that I have been applying makeup and then removing it quite frequently over the span of an hour and a half. And it decided it didn't like that, and I don't blame it. When my skin gets irritated, especially around my eyes, eyeshadow doesn't lay down quite as well, but actually doing okay. And I will say there is quite a bit of kick up in this pan. So I'm trying to be extra careful with this color just because the fallout will be pretty intense if I get it everywhere. But blow it out now. Of course, now we're gonna go into Plankton. I just have to. It's so pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and just put it on my finger, just like I've been doing with the other ones. And it glows. I actually saw somebody recently use a very similar color. And I think it was kind of shocking. It was like Chanel or something. And I was like, where is that color? I need that color. And they don't have it anymore. And I'm glad they don't, because I don't need it, because this is perfect. Now I do want to blend those two colors together a little bit better. So we're gonna go into Archipelago, and this color we're gonna use just in my crease, kind of to just make them look a little more together. And also I think if we put it underneath the waterline, it'll work there as well. And I'm just kind of stamping it in. And I think that's all we're gonna do for this eye. It's a little bit messy, I will say. I think when I put eyeliner and mascara, it'll clean it up a little bit. But let me go ahead, do the same thing on the other eye, put on some mascara and eyeliner, and then show you the final look of the final palette. And we are done. This is the final look. What do we think? I think that green is ridiculously pretty. I mean, they're all greens. They're all pretty. But Plankton, that's my jam. It really is. Whew. Okay, so we have filmed with all three palettes. I think it's time to talk about my final thoughts. I am hot and I am slightly sweaty. There is a heat wave continuing in California. And I think I've spent at least 2 hours filming this video. And I definitely have some thoughts after all that filming, all three looks, the swatches, everything. What do we think? They're amazing. Yeah, they really are. This formula is so unparalleled, okay? Like, there's no competition for Clionagh's formula, especially for their multi-chromes. They are just so buttery soft. Actually, their mattes are too, the same. They're just so easy to go on. Like, they're pigmented, which is what I really like. I like pigment. Like, you don't need to go in over and over with your brush. If you blend, it doesn't disappear. It stays on there. And it's just kind of a beautiful experience. Does that sound corny? I know it does. I can hear it and it sounds corny. But it really is. Like, these three palettes were so much fun to play with. Now, am I gonna say you need all three palettes? Absolutely not. I would say pick whichever one fits your mood best, right? Or fits your preference best. Whichever one you're gonna get the most use out of, unless you're like me and you just like to play with your eyeshadow and you want all three because you want to play with them. Do I have a favorite between the three of these palettes? Ooh, that is a valid question. And we didn't get to play with the entire Oceano palette, but oh my god, am I excited. And weirdly enough, I think this might be my favorite look. I liked all of them, but this one might be the winner. The Paleo probably came in a close second. These blues are magnificent, okay? Like, this color story is just beautiful. They're dark mattes, okay? While the kick up and the fallout is intense, they're just so pigmented and rich. I will say, even though I really, really liked the look that I came up with, Archeo is probably on number 3 out of the 3. And that's just because, I mean, we've got some yellows in here, and if you've been here before, you know I'm not a huge fan of yellow. I'm trying to use it more. But it's weirdly enough not a color story that speaks to me, but I really enjoyed the look that we did with this. Plus, they have this lichen color, and it's this like dark, mossy olive green that we will be playing with very, very soon. Trust me. So between Paleo and Oceano, though, I don't know. It might be equal right now, okay? I don't know if I have a favorite, but the formula is just such a treat to play with, I will say. It's just, again, it's just so soft. It's like so easy to use. It's just, it is art, and then you feel like you're making art when you put it on your face, okay? It's not corny if it's true. But these palettes were amazing. I'm actually really glad that I picked up all three. I, went back and forth whether or not I wanted all three, if I just wanted 2 out of the 3. And I'm glad I picked up both. There's a little bit of everything in each of these palettes. Like if you want the more neutral look, they have that in the Archeo palette, right? I do feel like it skews a little bit more neutral. Well, now that I'm looking at it, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. It's got a couple more neutral colors, but I don't think I would say it skews neutral. Neutral-ish, maybe? No. If you want more earth tone colors, the Archeo is for you. Also, Ritzy would like to say hello. Hello! He's British, if you didn't know. But overall, while these are very expensive palettes, these are palettes that I intend to use a lot. And just after using them, this is the first time that I've used them, it was just magical, okay? Like they just perform so well. The fallout is the only con, okay? The fallout is rough, but just the feel of them, the buttery softness, easy to blend out, pigmented colors, they have just so many pros. I can ignore the one con. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was long. I know it was long. And I know I was looking down quite a bit. Again, like we're filming with some new tools here. We're getting the hang of it. And I'm looking down more than I would like. But I hope you liked the new way we did swatches. I loved it. I think it was a much better way than how I've shown swatches previously. But let me know your opinions down below. Also, let me know, are you going to be picking up any of these palettes? Do you love Clionadh as much as I do? Please let me know. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!